how many minutes today have you spent in actual silence? Not the silence between notifications, not the quiet before the next thought arrives, but the kind of silence where your mind isn't already planning what comes next. We live in a world that has forgotten how to be still. There's a radio station playing constantly inside your head. Thich Nhat Hanh calls it NST, non-stop thinking, and most of us have never learned how to turn it off. We scroll, we plan, we replay yesterday's conversations and rehearse tomorrow's arguments. Even when the room is quiet, the noise continues, louder sometimes than anything outside. And somewhere beneath all that sound, life is calling. The beauty around you, the breath moving through your body, the simple miracle of being alive, here, now. But you can't hear it, because there's no space left inside. This isn't your fault. You didn't choose to be born into a world that profits from your distraction, that measures your worth by your productivity, that tells you rest is laziness and the silence is wasted time. You've been conditioned to believe that if you stop moving, you'll disappear, that if you're not constantly improving, optimizing, achieving, you're falling behind some invisible finish line. So you fill every gap, every pause, every moment that could be. Rest becomes another task, another scroll, another attempt to outrun the feeling that something is missing, and the exhaustion becomes normal. The noise becomes familiar until you forget what it feels like to simply be. But underneath all of that, underneath the urgency and the anxiety and the endless mental commentary, there's a part of you that remembers, that knows this isn't how life was meant to be lived. That part is still here, quietly, waiting for you to stop long enough to listen. Thich Nhat Hanh spent decades teaching a truth that sounds almost too simple. Silence is essential. We need silence just as much as we need air, as plants need light, not as a luxury, not as something to achieve after you finish everything else, as essential as breathing. Today, we simply allow this teaching to meet the world we are living in now. Because if you're exhausted from thinking, if your mind feels like a crowded room, you can't escape. You're not broken. You're just consuming a constant stream of noise and information without interruption, never fully resting, never fully here. Even in the rare moments when there's no external sound, the internal radio keeps broadcasting, and plants don't grow without light. People don't breathe without air. And you cannot hear your own life when there's no space inside to listen. Silence isn't about shutting down. It's about waking up to the fact that right now, in this moment, you are alive. Your body is breathing, your heart is beating, and all of this is happening without you having to think about it. But you've been trained to believe that stopping is dangerous, that if you're not moving, planning, producing, you're falling behind. So you fill every gap with noise, with podcasts and playlists and scrolling, with thoughts about what you should be doing instead of this. And your heart keeps knocking from inside the life you're actually living. But you're too busy to answer. Mindfulness, in its truest sense, isn't about fixing yourself. It's about stopping long enough to remember that you exist, that you're here, that this moment is real, not the moment you're planning for, not the one you're remembering, this one. When you practice conscious breathing, just 2 or 3 breaths with full attention, something shifts. The mental chatter fades. The future becomes less urgent. The past loosens its grip. With each breath, you travel inward. Your body is breathing. Your body is your home. And you've been away for so long, wandering through memories and futures, that you've forgotten what it feels like to return. Each inhale is an arrival. Each exhale, a release. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to become anything. You just have to come back. Back to the body that's been carrying you all along. Back to the breath that's been breathing you since the moment you were born. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh meant when he said, with the act of conscious breathing, you travel inward. Your body is your home. With each breath, you can come home to yourself, not to some perfect version of yourself, not to the person you think you should be, but to the one who is here, now, alive in this body, in this moment, your feet on the ground, your weight in the chair, the air moving through your lungs. These aren't distractions from something more important. They are the doorway back to presence. You know that moment just before sleep, when your body begins to soften, when the weight of the day finally releases, when you're not quite asleep, but no longer fully awake. That edge where thinking dissolves. That's the border of silence. You felt it before. You just forgot it was always available. Not hidden somewhere far away. Not waiting at the end of some spiritual journey. Here, in the space between one breath and the next. And when you return, even for a moment, you realize you were never truly lost. You were just listening to the wrong station. Pause right now. Not later, not after you finish this video. Now, close your eyes if you can. If not, just soften your gaze. Feel the weight of your body. Notice where it touches the chair, the floor, the ground beneath you. Now, bring your attention to your breath. Don't change it. Don't fix it. Just notice it. The cool air entering your nostrils, the slight expansion of your chest, the natural pause at the top of the inhale, then the release, the exhale, the softening. You don't have to do anything. Your body already knows how to breathe. This is what it feels like to be alive. Not later, not when you finally get everything done. Now, and in those few seconds, the internal noise disappears, and you can hear what's been waiting for you all along. The sound beneath the sound. Mindfulness is like a bell that reminds us to stop and listen in silence. You don't need a literal bell. You just need the willingness to pause, to remember, to return, because silence isn't empty. In Buddhism, it's called thundering silence. It's not the absence of sound. It's a sound so powerful, so full of presence, that it holds everything. You can hear it if you stop moving long enough, if you turn off the radio station in your mind and simply listen. It's eloquent. It's alive. It's been there all along, waiting beneath the noise. Most of us think silence is deprivation, something to endure. But mindfulness offers something different. Inner space. The more space you create for stillness, the more you have to offer yourself and others. Silence can bring as much joy as laughter. It has the power to heal. When you practice noble silence, you're not just avoiding speech. You're calming the agitation of your thoughts. You're finding freedom from the mental burdens you've been carrying, regrets about the past, fears about the future, the constant hum of wanting something other than this. Walk slowly. Feel your feet on the ground. Each step releases tension. Each step touches the miracle of life. This isn't a technique. It's a way of living. When you stop the internal movement, You find a healing silence, a silence that doesn't require you to go anywhere or become anyone else. A silence that welcomes you exactly as you are. Without silence, you don't live in the present, and the present is your only chance at finding peace. Everything you need, everything is found in silence. Not the silence that comes after you've solved all your problems, the silence that exists right now, beneath the thinking, beneath the noise, beneath the endless seeking. When you quiet the mind, you hear the sound of wonders in this life. And when you hear that sound, you begin to live authentically, deeply. Not speaking can bring peace, but offering yourself the deeper silence of non-thinking that brings a wonderful lightness and freedom. Non-thinking is an art, and like any art, it requires patience and practice. Even 10 conscious breaths can be difficult at first. Your mind will resist. It will tell you this is a waste of time, that you have more important things to do. But when you stop the mental chatter, that constant cognitive agitation, you discover a free space, a space that allows you to live your life in a radically new and satisfying way. Not sometime in the future, now. Silence is the sound of arriving, not arriving somewhere else, not arriving at some future moment when everything finally makes sense. Arriving here, where your breath is, where your body is, where life has always been, waiting. You've spent so long searching, running towards something, running away from something, and the whole time, what you were looking for was this breath, this moment, this simple, ordinary miracle of being alive. Silence doesn't give you answers. It gives you yourself back, and maybe that's all you ever needed. So I'll ask again, how many minutes today have you spent in actual silence? And if the answer is 0, what are you listening to instead? Because life is still here. The beauty is still present. Your own heart is still waiting for you to arrive. All it takes is stopping, breathing, listening. If this resonates with you, I invite you to walk this path together. Explore more teachings on this channel that create space for the silence within. Let me know in the comments. When was the last time you experienced true silence? The peace you seek has never been elsewhere.